Welcome back to the show, everybody. This is the Tim and Shipe Show. This episode of the podcast is brought to you by Agape Ridge Cabins and Affinity Apartment Communities. Agape Ridge Cabins are the new cabins that are actually opened up by Affinity Apartment Communities, and this weekend only, folks. Check it. This weekend only, they are offering $50 off a cabin rental. That's $50 off. You have to go to agaperidge.com. Check out their Facebook page, Agape Ridge Cabins. Use the promo code GRAND50, and you're going to get $50 off per night on these cabins. And these cabins are beautiful. In Hocking Hills, you're not going to find better cabins. Beautiful. Take your family out there for the weekend and get $50 off per night. Again, visit Agape Ridge Cabins and check out their website, agaperidgecabins.com, or follow them on Facebook, Agape Ridge Cabins, and check out Affinity Apartment Communities. Go to their website, go through the simple application process, and get started today. Find your next beautiful home. They have it ready for you. Check them out, Agape Ridge Cabins and Affinity Apartment Communities. This episode of the podcast is also going to be brought to you by My Auto Care. Go to myautocare.com. Check out all their services. They can do it all, and they come to you. Go to myautocare.com. Give them a call. Check out their website, and you will not regret it. This is a wonderful company that, like I've said before, they are revolutionizing the auto care industry. People are going to be trying to catch up with them because they have great service, and they have a great company and a great model. You are going to love it. So give them a call. Check out myautocare.com and see what they have to offer, and check out what you're missing if you haven't used My Auto Care yet. Remember, folks, they come to you 24/7. Check them out. Let's get to it.
Could be up to the offensive line. No, Prince's going to throw for it. Got to get it off. They go for the ball game. Touchdown! Touchdown! Michael Jenkins! Holy Buckeye! Tebow straight ahead into the end zone, and the Gators have put this one on ice.
Hello, and welcome to the Tim and Shipe Show. This is a college football podcast. Thank you so much for joining us. We're part of the Press Play Podcast Network, and for the next 45 to 50 to maybe even an hour if we get super excited, we're going to be talking about college football. And we've been doing our gatorbuck team. We have Dwayne Haskins as our starter, right, Tim? As our starting quarterback, and all the other Buckeyes are in there. No, but for real, we have Tim Tebow as our starting quarterback, and some guy who makes waffles as our backup. And then we have Eddie George and Archie Griffin as our two tailbacks. And then we're still waiting on word from our wide receivers and tight ends because we're just in limbo here. But for this week, we have a special guest. Since we're not getting answers from Chase, we have decided to invite in the one and only, the great and powerful Joel Guinan. Joel is one of our best friends from college, and he's going to be listening to our arguments completely unbiased because he doesn't really pay all that much attention to college football, if we're all being honest with ourselves. But he's going to hear our arguments, and he's going to be telling us all about who's going to be our starting offensive lineman for this Gatorbuck team. Joel, welcome to the show, buddy.
Thanks for having me, guys. Glad to be here.
Yes, loving it. So, Joel, where are you living these days? You're all around the world, it seems.
Right now I'm living just outside Pittsburgh, just about 30 minutes east of the city, so great place to be.
Becoming a Steelers fan?
No. Still a Cowboys fan through and through. So.
Okay, all right.
The question is, Joel, did you have something to do with Ben Roethlisberger's injury?
I did not, but we did get to have Santonio Holmes, the one and only, come do some stuff for us for an event last year that was pretty awesome. So there is some perks of being out here by the Steelers. So.
Yeah, get him on the podcast. I mean, whatever. We're only your best friends.
That'd be awesome. Yeah. Yeah, he lives right in Pickerington, so yeah.
Yeah, we'll let him know all about it.
That or not.
Whoops.
Yeah.
No.
You guys can take that out in post, right?
Yeah, right. All right, so what we're going to do this week, we have 5 positions that we're going to be breaking down today. And so we can't go too much in depth, and Tim and I are just going to give you the basics. Luckily, they're just linemen, and so we're not going to talk about, how many pancakes these players had against Michigan. We're not going to be going really deep into the woods. And so it's just going to be the basics of what awards did they get in college and where were they drafted in the NFL draft. That's the basics of what I have. Tim, is that where you're basically at as well?
Yeah, basically any accolades they had as far as awards during college and then where they went in the NFL.
All right, so start us off. Let's start in the center and then work our way right and then work our way left. How's that sound?
All right, that sounds great.
All right, so who's your center on your Florida team?
So my center is Marquise Pouncey, who played from 2007 to 2009, drafted by the Pittsburgh Steelers, Joel. In the first round, 18th pick, he was the number 1 center taken that year. He was also the highest center drafted since 1999, so that's a big deal. He had 39 starts in 3 seasons. Freshman, first-team All-American, and then All-American again in 2009. He was also the Remington Award winner as the best center in college football.
Okay.
Also national champion.
Those are some solid points there, man. That's tough to follow.
Yeah. Slow yourself here, Joel. Because I'm going to be talking about the one and only, the man among boys in college football, Billy Price. Yeah, you probably heard the name because he's still playing for the Cincinnati Bengals. He was a center. He was a 4-year started. He was also a Remington Award winner, which if you're a center, that's the best award you'll ever get. Okay, he was a 4-year starter at Ohio State, which we know is obviously better than Florida. So if he's a 4-year starter at Ohio State, think about how much better he is than anybody who has ever started at Florida. So he was a first-round pick, picked 21st overall to the Bengals, still with them. And he was basically the best I would say the best offensive lineman at Ohio State, but really he was way better. So Billy Price, Remington Award winner, 4-year starter. He started at guard and moved to center and became the captain of the offense, just a dominant player in college and still in the NFL.
How many seasons in the NFL does he have?
He was drafted in the – he was also Offensive Player of the Year. He was drafted in the 2018 draft class, so he hasn't been there long. But, Joel, please keep in mind that the pro stats don't come into account, okay? So these are only college stats that we're looking at here. Does that make sense? Because we're creating a college team, okay? So Remington Award winner, started both guard and center, 4-year starter at The Ohio State University. Remington Award winner. Did I say Remington Award winner?
Yeah,
first round pick as an offensive lineman.
They both did the Remington Award winner, and then Marquise Pouncey only needed 3 years in college before he said, I'm ready for the NFL. So he went straight to the Steelers, which is harder to do than playing for the Ohio State Buckeyes, clearly. And then he was also drafted higher in the draft than your guy was. So
listen, it sounds like he was a pretty selfish guy who cut out on his 4th year of wanting to play for Florida. Probably bad coaching, just bad overall. And so he's probably just ready to be like, I just got to get out of here. I just got to get off this garbage team.
You're talking about the same coach that was coaching your center. Also,
shoot.
Well played.
All right, Joel, who you got? Who's starting at center?
What round were they both draft, or what overall draft were they? Both in the first round.
First round, 18th pick for Pouncey. I think 21st for his guy.
21st. Yeah. But it was a deeper draft than what Tim
first had. Highest drafted center since 1999, so 20 years.
Yeah, when was he drafted? This year?
My guy?
Yeah.
2009.
Oh,
so he's still in the NFL.
It was a weak draft that year, if you recall.
That doesn't make any
Yeah,
sense.
I'm sure. I gotta go for it on this one.
Go Florida? What? Because
That's
of
good.
he's a 4-year. Whatever. All right.
As it
All right.
should.
Joe gets ultimate say. So Billy Price is out, and who's your guy?
Marquise Pouncey.
Pouncey. Okay. All right. So let's go right guard. Right guard is next. Okay. I'll start with this one because apparently whoever starts matters for Joel. So I'll start on this one. So I have don't get confused here, okay? Because my right guard has a very popular name. Michael Jordan. Okay?
Oh yeah, I know him. He played for the Bulls, right?
Yeah. Yes, no. And it's really hard when you're looking up Michael Jordan's stats because obviously he's not the most famous Michael Jordan.
Did you get the guy for the Wizards?
Wait, there's another one?
College. You have to be really specific about college football stats.
Oh, North Carolina.
Yeah,
Yeah,
right, right. Okay, so we have Michael Jordan coming in at our right guard position. Michael Jordan is also a player who started at guard and moved to center. Okay, he was the first true freshman to start for Ohio State since the Pro Bowl, since the Pro Bowl, since the Hall of Famer Orlando Pace. And so this man was an absolute monster on the football field. Starting as a true freshman, he's actually starting as a rookie this year for the Cincinnati Bengals. Cincinnati Bengals, they like themselves some Ohio State offensive linemen. And
Is that why they're so good?
yeah, that's why. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
It's definitely why they're always getting early picks. So.
Yes. So we have Michael Jordan, who is setting the stage here. He was an All-American, started as a true freshman. He started 41 consecutive games in his career, moved to center, like I said, and he was a freshman throughout. Let me look up his draft pick for just 1 second. I don't know if he was necessarily drafted high, but the fact that he's starting, even without being drafted high, makes a huge deal here. So
yeah, it really just all comes down to who needs what year. So
yeah, exactly. Which is, I don't know how you picked. What is your Marquette guy? Because it just could have been that that team needed a center. So even though Billy Price was obviously the better center.
Too late. Shut
I
up.
hear you. Mm-hmm.
Let's get
He was
some-
drafted by the Bengals in the 4th round of the 2019 draft class. So he just went 4th round draft pick. He was legit though. This guy was a monster.
He was just drafted.
Yeah, just drafted. So
Okay.
in the 4th round, he's huge. But yeah, so he was just awesome.
what are some of his awards? Any awards?
Yeah, he was an All-American. And that's about the extent of it. He's not like I don't know, what's the right guard award, Tim, do you know?
I know they have the what's it called? The Jacobs blocking trophy.
Yeah, he did not win that. But he's still legit, okay? Tim, who
All
you
right.
got, bub?
All right, Tim.
So for my right, are we saying right guard, right?
Yes.
Okay, I have Jeff Zimmerman. So he played from 83 to 86. So he played a little while ago, a couple years ago. He was a 3-year starter for the Gators. He was drafted in the 3rd round by the Dallas Cowboys, Joel.
Mhm.
He was actually projected to be a 1st-round pick, but he did have some weight issues. Like he was heavier than the NFL was kind of moving towards like a lighter lineman push. So he was projected 1st round, but he actually went in the 3rd round and played for the Cowboys for a while. He was the first Gator lineman ever as a lineman to be an All-American as an underclassman.
These
And-
things don't matter. Whether you're first or last, it doesn't matter if you're first.
Wait, what do you mean?
I'd like to scratch that from the record, Joel. Just
Wait.
because he's the first of something doesn't mean anything.
Yeah, of course it does.
Baloney.
What do you mean? Yeah, because he's the
He was
first.
the first to get the award, like when they.
Yeah, the first Gator ever to be an All-American.
Gator?
Okay,
You see what I'm
really?
saying, Joel? Gator.
What does that even mean?
Gator.
Okay,
It's second
you
team
you just mentioned that your guy was the second since some Orlando Pace to do something.
Yeah.
So
The
I don't
second
want
true
to.
freshman to ever start for the Ohio
Okay,
State University.
But that's the same point I'm making.
Okay,
You made the same point that I'm making. So he was the first. He was the first Gator lineman ever to be an All-American as an underclassman. So, especially in the 80s when juniors and seniors played and underclassmen rarely got to play like this, he was the first ever to not only play but excel and be an All-American. So he was the overall 2-time All-American, 3-time All-SEC, and he went on to be as a 3-year starter, and he was drafted in the 3rd round by the Dallas Cowboys.
What year is this draft? 86?
86.
Different game. They're going to be drafting. I say that because they're going to draft offensive linemen higher in the 80s because they're going to run the ball more. And so they're a little more
projected first round.
Yeah.
But dropped all the way to the 3rd. Ugh.
I explained that, though.
Yeah.
The game was changing, and he was a victim of that change, which is fine. But he's still a 3rd-round pick, still played in the NFL for the Cowboys. And, again, 3-year starter, youngest All-American in the history of Gator football, 3-time All-SEC, 2-time All-American. Amazing lineman.
86. Would that have been the Tom Landry years?
Yeah.
The Cowboys?
Yeah.
That's big. To get drafted by the Tom Landry.
Mm-hmm.
I mean.
All
I
right.
can't argue with that.
Yeah, I got to go Florida on this one.
Oh, jeez. All right. All right. Okay. So my strategies are not working as far as trying to tear Tim down. So I'm going to just sit back. Tim, tell us about your right tackle.
Okay, so my right tackle is Lomas Brown. He actually played a little bit with Jeff Zimmerman. He played from 81 to 84 in what was called the Great Wall of Florida, where they won their first ever SEC championship. So he was a 34-game starter, team captain, first team All-SEC, consensus first team All-American. He won the Jacobs Blocking Trophy for being the best blocker. Drafted in the 1st round, 6th pick by the Lions. He played 18 seasons in the NFL and 7 straight Pro Bowls.
How much did he play a lot of right tackle, Tim?
He was a tackle for his whole career, yes.
A right tackle?
I'm sorry, what?
Are you saying he's left tackle?
Does it matter? It was
no. Listen, I'm giving
flexible.
Tim.
Flexible.
I'm giving Tim a hard time because I told him to make the switch from left tackle to right tackle.
Because this would have been a true debate. Debate.
Yeah.
On this one, so we kind of compromise on this.
Here's what happened. I felt bad for Tim because I didn't think he was going to win any of these, and then Joel comes in like slips at these.
Yeah.
And so I was like, our pregame prep. I was like, you know what, Tim? Why don't you just move because left tackle, he's against Orlando Pace, arguably the best left tackle to ever play the game, college and pro. And so I was like, you know what? I'll give you the right tackle. Why don't you just take your left tackle, move him to right tackle, and then it'll be an easy win for you.
What happened was our left tackle position was very debatable. So instead of spending 20 minutes debating back and forth on that position because we both felt like ours was better, he said, why don't you just move yours? And I was like, you know what? That's fine. So we'll each take one of the tackle positions and then discuss the other 3. That's really what happened.
Okay.
Well,
Gotcha.
But now that I'm gonna go down 3-0 because of this move, I'm change my tune a little bit.
So you're pretty confident that you're gonna go down on this one.
I don't necessarily know about that. Let me tell you about a young man.
I appreciate the salesmanship here.
He already told me the numbers, and he already gave up.
Yeah.
Shush. I mean, this guy's legit. He was a 1st-round pick. To 1st round, 16th overall pick to the Detroit Lions. He runs a 5.3 40. He did the bench press in 20 reps. He has a 101-inch vertical. He has a 7.
What are we talking about?
I'm throwing out as many stats as I can right now.
There's a 101-inch vertical.
Yes, his broad jump. 101 inch broad
Okay, that makes
Oh,
more
broad
sense.
jump. I was like, his feet are like 8 feet high.
jump.
That's the best lineman ever.
Yeah.
He should play as a receiver.
He did the 3-cone drill in 7 seconds and a 20-yard shuttle. You're
really going quantity over quality here.
Yeah, no, he's Taylor Decker. He's still playing. He's still starting for the Detroit Lions. He was a 2015 Consensus All-American. That is his award, a Consensus All-American. That means that everybody who voted for the All-Americans voted for Taylor Decker to be an All-American.
Yeah,
Not
I got that
one
too.
person. Yeah, your
I already
guy.
said that.
Yeah, but you also threw in professional stats here, Tim. You mentioned Pro Bowls.
No, I mentioned they won 7 straight Pro Bowls, but that wasn't the point.
Yeah.
He was drafted higher, had more awards. It's
Scratch the Pro Bowls from the record, Joel.
Yeah, because it's really easy to just forget about it.
What's a Pro Bowl?
Yeah.
NFL stats. We're not counting those. All right, Joel. Who you picking? Who's your real right tackle? Tim.
That is my right tackle. You want to talk about left tackle? We can talk about left tackle.
Mm-hmm. All right.
Yeah,
Because truthfully, I think my left tackle would still beat your right tackle. That's the truth.
Okay. Taylor Decker's legit, though.
I gotta go Florida on this one.
Oh, jeez. All right.
I wouldn't mind revisiting center again before we get off this topic.
Billy
No,
Price,
really.
yeah.
All right,
Listen, I don't want your
left
pity.
tackle or left guard.
I don't want your pity votes now that you're leaning Florida all the way. Remember, this is Florida.
I know. I'm not
I'm
not any happier about this than you are.
The second
Believe me.
string starters at the second stringers at Ohio State would be starters at Florida.
That's ridiculous.
Just
That's ridiculous.
keep that in mind.
That's
All right.
ridiculous. All right. Do you want to go left guard next?
Yeah, left guard. Who's your left guard?
All right, I'll go. My left guard is Mike Deggery. He played from 2002 to 2005. Listen, let's be honest.
Good
Other
era.
than Michael Jordan, we know very few of the names on this list. All right. So Mike Deggery played from 2002 to 2005. He has a record because he started from freshman to senior year 15 consecutive games for University of Florida. He is a 3-time Remington Trophy finalist, All-American, 2-time All-SEC player. 50 consecutive games started.
Okay.
Also 3 SEC championships. So
That's your left guard?
Yes.
All right. Be ready to have your mind blown because
Ready.
Billy Price, you remember how good Billy Price was when we
No.
were talking centers? Pat Elflein is basically a carbon copy of Billy Price. And here's why. He started out as left guard and ended up moving to center, just like Billy Price. And when he
So
made
he's not
that,
really a left guard. That's what you're saying?
well, but he played his junior and senior year as a center. So he started left guard, went to center, and I'm putting him as my left guard because he played left guard. Give it to him. But when he made that move to center, just like Billy Price, he won the Remington Award. As
a left guard or as a center?
I can't remember exactly.
Because if he didn't win it as a center, then I don't think you can count him in his left guard stats.
No, you can because he's a winner. Okay, Pat Elflein. I keep saying Billy Price because they're very similar. Pat Elflein was a third-round pick, sixth overall. He grew up in Pickerington, Ohio, and he redshirted in 2012. But then he started as a sophomore. First, he was 3-time first-team All Big Ten. He started. He switched between left and right. Eventually moved to center. First-team All-American recognition and from various media outlets. I'm just reading his profile, if I'm being 100% honest. But he was legit. Like I said, started tackle. These are all recent people. Okay, he went in the third round in 2017.
Okay.
They're all recent because I looked at the 5 best offensive linemen from Ohio State on like a website, and they're all from like the 40s. So I went with the
Maybe you
names.
should went with those.
Maybe I should have, but I wanted to go with people I knew
Yeah.
because these people, like if I were starting a team, I'd start a team with these guys because
Well, yeah, because the other guys are 95.
yeah, they're like 100, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So he was drafted by the Vikings. Remington Award winner. Keep that in mind.
What round did he get drafted?
3rd round, 6th pick.
Okay. And what about your guy, Tim?
I'm looking at that right now because I didn't write that down. Let me check.
Doesn't count then.
You didn't have one of yours either.
Yeah, because, I mean, for both cases for this one, both of them are on actually the good seasons for Buckeyes in Florida.
Yeah, except my guy started 50 consecutive games. 50.
Yeah.
Never missed a game.
What's that? Okay,
In
so
4
he
years.
plays scared and doesn't get injured. Ugh.
You can't play scared as an offensive lineman. That doesn't make sense.
Yes, it does because he didn't get injured. So he's like protecting his knees, like, oh, don't hurt me.
That doesn't make any sense.
That's what he did.
Give me another good argument for Billy Price.
When you say Billy Price, you mean Pat Elflein, or you want Billy Price for center because you want to change your pick to Billy Price for center?
I'm interested.
You
Yeah.
can't change your pick.
He reserves the right to do anything. He's like the slap bet commissioner for this podcast right now.
Chad, you're so desperate. It's sad. Did I mention Mike Diggory is the offensive line coach for the New Mexico Lobos?
Talk about desperate.
No, it's a fact. I just noticed that.
Mm-hmm. Doesn't count. That means nothing.
For the who? The New Mexico what?
Lobos,
Mhm.
the college team.
Did I tell you he was consensus All-American and the Dave Remington Trophy Award winner?
Yep.
Yep, I think you did.
Did I say that? 3-year starter.
Is that better than 4 or less good than 4? I can't remember.
I think it depends on who's arguing for it.
Yeah, I think he actually
The
got.
veteran.
It looks like he got injured in his junior year. He played 2014 as a national champion, 2015, and then again in 2017. So he must have been out 2016, and in 2017 is when he really took off.
So he got hurt and missed a year? Is that – or yeah, it was – what happened?
Yeah, he was playing really hard. He wasn't scared of getting hurt, so he was just giving it his all, and he ended up.
Or did he just get outplayed by another lineman, so he benched him?
No, he got hurt. Yeah, he was hurt because he was a starter 3 years. So what round did your guy get picked, Tim?
I'm really not finding it.
Oh, undrafted. Surprise, surprise.
It would say that, though. That's the thing. It's like I'm not seeing anything about him at all.
What's his name? Who is he?
Mike
Greg
Diggory.
something?
Mike Diggory. Sorry, we can't all have memorable names like Michael Jordan.
Didgeridoo.
Mike Diggory.
Yeah, this is the only person I've ever seen who doesn't even mention like what happened with him after college, which is so unusual. Because even if they don't get drafted, it'll say undrafted.
All right, so Joel, who are you picking? You have to kind of take Tim's draft pick out of the equation. I'm not going to push you in any, subliminal Elfline message here. Just whatever you think.
Yeah, I mean, you have to really pick between the guy who started all 4 years or the guy who missed the whole season because he got hurt. I mean, it's really up to you.
I have to admit, that is the best stat out of all of them. You guys are basically laying out all the same stuff.
3rd round pick.
But there's a difference between playing 3 years and going pro and playing 2 years, missing out a year because you got hurt, then playing another year, and then being out of eligibility so you go pro. You know what I mean? There's 2 very different situations. So that's the difference between, like, for example, my center who played 3 years and went pro because he was ready, and your guy who missed a whole year because he got hurt, and my guy who played all 4 years consecutively. That's not a reach.
You're reaching.
How is that a reach?
Because
your guy got hurt. He sat out a whole year because he got hurt. My guy played all 4 years.
You can't take injuries into account here.
Of course you can.
If he wouldn't have been hurt, he would have started all 4 years. Here's the thing: what you could take into account, is the fact that he got injured, still came back and won all these awards. So the injury didn't set him back at all. If anything, he thrived through injury.
Guy is the Cal Ripken of offensive linemen.
Give me a break, Cal Ripken.
50 consecutive games. You have to admit, To start as a freshman and play all 4 years consecutively is an amazing stat.
That's the best stat I'm hearing.
What year did he play?
02 to 05.
Exactly.
02 to 05. All right, so not quite leather helmets, but still pretty old guy.
Within your lifetime, Shipe. Within your lifetime.
Remember, did Florida win a championship in 05?
No.
It was
06.
It was 06.
Okay.
So the next year.
So no, he was weak. Couldn't even.
And then was your guy playing when Ohio State won their national championship, or was that the year he was out?
No, it wasn't the year he was out.
What years did your guys play? You're gonna play again?
Hold on, you guys.
14 to 17, right?
Yeah, so he would have been a freshman starter. Yes, so he did win a national championship. He does have a ring.
So wait, your guy was a 3-year starter?
I think so. Pat Elfline. Yeah, for sure.
I think so. You said for sure, like
For
somehow I'm doubting your.
Can you say for sure with a question mark on the end of it? For sure? Yeah, for sure. Right.
I thought you said he played for the Bengals.
Right now? No, that's Billy Price plays for the Bengals and Michael Jordan plays for the Bengals.
Oh, okay.
Pat Elfline plays for the Vikings currently. Yes, thank you, Joel. Yeah. So who are you going to pick?
Hold on. I just want to double check this before you make a decision. I'm going to his college career, looking specifically at his freshman season. His freshman season was actually 2013.
Pat Elfline?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, so he's a championship winner.
That doesn't prove anything.
He's a champion. He's part of champions. Was your guy champion?
Was he playing or was he injured the year of the championship?
He was playing. He got injured in 16.
Okay, gotcha.
Whoa, I like the tone.
That's almost enough to sway me right there.
Also, it says clearly in his freshman season he barely played.
He actually played defense, and he made the switch to offense.
You kind of forgot to mention that part.
Yeah, well, because if you're good in –
he's a 3-year starter.
Defense. Yeah, he got a tackle on defense when he was a freshman.
So he was a 2-year starter.
Yeah.
Okay. Glad we cleared that up.
All right, Joel, it's time to make a decision. Who's taking home the left guard position, Pat Elfline or whoever that Florida player?
Mike Diggory.
All right, it's got to come down to this. Did he earn a ring?
Pat Elfline?
Yep.
100% he earned the ring.
Wait, are you saying that earning a ring
He starting
2 seasons and winning a championship, which
Tim, your arguments are over.
No, hold on. No, yeah. Joel, I want to make sure you hear this because Joel didn't hear this in our past discussions. Shipe has been very clear that outside of the quarterback positions, championships don't matter in this discussion because the quarterback is the only position that really dictates championships. So I want to make sure that's known right now because that has been said multiple times in discussions.
When we're talking offensive line, as a true Cowboys fan, the only reason the Cowboys were good in the 90s was because they had the best line ever.
But that's not individual players.
That's a great point.
That's a 5-person line.
That's a great point.
Right now, Tom Brady is still not the top earner because he's taking lower salary pay so that they can have better linemen and better to keep the salary cap down.
It's true.
But,
crucial.
But the Patriots have like the 15th best line in the NFL right now, and they're still the best team. So that doesn't necessarily make them the best line.
What I'm saying is having those other key players around you makes a good quarterback amazing. And so what's going to make a championship team is going to be that line. I gotta go with Ohio State on this one.
Elfline. Boom. So we got our left. So it looks like the left side of this line is going to be Ohio State because the left tackle is hardly going to be a debate. All right. So when we move on to the left tackle, I think, Tim doesn't recognize a lot of names on this list, but I recognize a lot of the Ohio State players. But everyone in the world should know the one and only Hall of Fame left tackle Orlando Pace. Let me run through his. Are you ready for this?
Wait, is he a college Hall of Famer?
I'm sure he's an Ohio State.
No, sorry,
Hall of Famer.
if you're not specifically talking about Hall of Fame from college, then we can't.
I understand, but let me go through his college accolades here, okay?
Please do.
1995 Consensus All-American. 1995 Vince Lombardi Award winner. 1996, pay attention to this one, Joel. 1996 Big Ten Offensive Player of the Year, going to an offensive lineman, not a quarterback, not a running back, not a wide receiver. Offensive Player of the Year to a left tackle. 1996 Consensus All-American. 1996 John Outland Trophy. 1996 Vince Lombardi Award winner. Okay, this is maybe arguably the best left tackle to ever play the game. The one and only Orlando Pace.
Okay.
Okay.
Was he drafted?
Yeah, he was drafted.
Did he play in the NFL? That wasn't.
He was. Yeah, he was the. Can we pay attention? Is this mic working? The first overall pick in the 1997 draft, NFL draft.
First overall pick.
First overall pick.
Going to left tackle.
Yes.
Pretty big deal.
Yeah.
Who drafted him?
The St. Louis Rams.
Rams. They don't play in St. Louis, do they? Okay.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Continue with who your loser is going to be.
So my left tackle is Jason Odom, not to be confused with Lamar, because that was a different guy. Jason Odom, the 4-year starter from 92 to 95, 2-time All SEC champion, or All SEC team, 3-time SEC championship. He won the SEC championship 3 consecutive years. 2-time Jacobs blocking trophy. 2-time. I don't know if you heard that. Unanimous All-American 2 times. He's in the University of Florida Athletic Hall of Fame. He was drafted in the 4th round by Tampa Bay. 4-year starter, 3-time SEC champion. Just want to make sure you heard that part. 2-time All-American, 2-time.
Are you just
Jacob
repeating
blocking
yourself
trophy.
here? Are we just repeating?
I'm just pointing those highlights out specifically.
You know that those weren't
championships matter the most.
That
Shipe.
wasn't 6 different accolades. That
How
was
many?
3 repeated twice.
No, there's not 3. I was just pointing out the specific ones again. So how many championships did your guy win?
I don't know, Tim. Does
None.
it really matter?
It does
if I
matter.
even
Of course
have to
it matters.
mention championships.
Of course it matters. According to Joel, that's the number one thing.
Okay, Joel, this one should be easy. Go for it.
All right. So let's see. I think that's a pretty strong argument with number one, the offensive player of the year. All right. Not going to quarterback, not going to skill position,
Mm-hmm.
and going first round overall pick
Mm-hmm.
of what year's draft was that?
1997.
97 draft. That's a pretty big deal. All right. So gotta go Ohio State on this one.
Boom. Of course you do. Orlando Pace is arguably the best college left tackle to ever play the game.
I'll
So,
give Orlando Pace, but I like to just make it clear that I disagree on the left guard position. That's the only
okay.
one.
I disagree.
Pace, no question. He's the best. I give. What do you say?
I disagree on the center position. So here we are. All right. So
So you guys want to make a fair swap?
No, I mean I think I should get both. So it's
I'll
fine.
flip it. I mean, center is like the captain of the offense.
No, Pouncey was better than your guy regardless.
Okay. So we
That's
got
fine.
left
That's
tackle,
great.
Ohio State, right tackle, Gators, center, Gators, left guard, Ohio State, right guard, Florida. And so that's how we're wrapping up the gatorbuck team. Joel, thanks so much for helping us out here. And we would love it if you stuck around, but we understand it's your birthday and you have a family. So if you want to stick around, we'd love to have you for the rest of the show. Otherwise, we thank you so much for being a part of it.
Yeah, thanks for having me, guys. Glad to be here. I'll go ahead and stick around and listen in because everybody else in my house is asleep right now. So
Oh, nice.
not a big deal.
All right. Awesome.
Thanks, Joe.
All right. Yes, thank you for being our picks because Chase is a slacker. And I hope you're listening, Chase, because you are a slacker. Okay, moving on. Here we go. We are going to our team recaps, Tim. So, Tim, last week, who'd the Gators play and how'd they look?
So the Gators, of course, played the University of Kentucky last week, and It wasn't
fun with this one.
my favorite game of all time. No, there was that's the thing is like there were a lot of conversations during the game and after the game about this, and a lot of I took a lot of crap for this game, and that's okay. I can handle it. It's fine. But I think people forget, like, we won the game. You know what I mean? Like, that's the bottom line. We won this game by 8 points. Now, there were points where I was concerned. Obviously, the first half was not great. The biggest thing is, we lost Felipe Franks to an injury. He's out for the year. He dislocated his ankle, and there was a fracture as well. So that hurt, of course. That's bad.
Is that bad? I mean,
well,
it's bad for him as an individual, but is it bad for the team?
We'll get there. Get
Okay.
there.
Okay,
But I want to
all right.
mention too, there was an ugly moment. I don't know if you've seen the video floating around. So there's a defensive player for Kentucky named Cash Daniel.
Okay.
Probably the most talented defensive player, I would say, in my limited knowledge of Kentucky football. But Cash Daniel had to play after Franks got hurt, and Kyle Trask came in, and he ran the ball, and they went to tackle him, and they show Cash Daniel, and he went, and he like completely tried to twist Trask's ankle. I mean, like clearly, in my opinion, a lot of people's opinion, he was trying to hurt him. He came out and said he wasn't, but and the video shows like it's pretty evident. After the play was over, he tried to like kind of flip his leg, like it was a pretty dirty looking play. So that was not cool at all.
Yeah. Dirty.
But the big thing about this game is this team rallied around the injury. So Frank's getting hurt is a problem. Obviously, like his experience alone is a big deal, and he's one of those players. Last year, he did play well in the beginning, and as the season went on, he seemed to get better and get more confidence. And I thought it was just him having a new coach. He needed to get in the system and get comfortable. But unfortunately, this year he started the same way. And this game, I feel confident that the Gators will lose this game if Franks does not get hurt. So the fact that he got hurt, the team seemed to rally around the injury and around Trask. And Trask was ready, and he came in, and he played really well. So I believe we won this game because of the injury. Now, what that means moving forward is it because of Trask, or is it just a team bonding together and coming together and winning this game? I don't know. And that's what we're going to find out on Saturday against Tennessee. I don't think it's because we can't compete with Tennessee. I'm saying, are we going to beat Tennessee by 7 or are we going to beat Tennessee by 40? So that's really going to be the test. I think how bad do we beat this Tennessee team shows how good this Gator team is going to be moving forward.
Yeah, because it's not really going to be all that competitive this week with Tennessee. But you want to see what Trask has. You want to see if the team is going to continue the momentum that they had in the fourth quarter against Kentucky moving forward with Trask under center. So this is a huge game. And I watched the majority of that game, mostly when I saw that it was getting like when Kentucky looked like they were pulling away, just so I could make fun of you. But and eventually Florida came out and won. So it worked out. It worked out to your advantage. That as sad as it is for Felipe Franks in his season, I mean that. What year is Kyle Trask? I don't know. What is he? Sophomore, junior?
He's the same. They're both redshirt juniors.
Okay. So,
they both came in together.
If I'm a betting man, just after seeing that game, Felipe Franks may have taken his last snap at Florida. Just from what I saw, that may have been his last snap as a Florida Gator.
It's very possible. And the interesting thing about Trask is he hasn't started a game since his freshman year of high school.
I saw that, yeah.
So it's very interesting. So he actually played behind, I believe it was the University of Houston's quarterback in high school. And then he's played behind Franks in college. So he never really had an opportunity to start until this Saturday for a really long time.
Wow.
So
good for him, man. He's paid his dues. I'm excited to see if he continues this momentum. And I hope that Ohio State and Tennessee are going into similar weeks where they could pretty much name the points they want to put on the board and name the points they want to give up. It's like how soon do we want to put in our backups and how high do we want to run up the score before we put in our backups? I think for both teams this week.
For Ohio State and Florida?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, overall, decent game. We have to run the ball better. I've said that for several weeks in a row now.
Yeah.
Not running the ball well. And Florida's defensive backs looked young and inexperienced. And they're basically playing 2 freshmen and a junior who's barely played ever. So, in their secondary. So that's going to be something where as the season goes on, they're going to have to really gel and get more experience. And when C.J. Henderson comes back from his sprained ankle, I think that'll help a lot too.
Yeah.
So, nothing to panic about yet. I think we have Tennessee and Towson the next 2 weeks, and then we start into a real season with LSU and Auburn and getting into our real conference schedule. So that's when it's going to be the real test.
Okay, so your unbiased opinion, I'm looking for it here, Tim. Florida is still ranked 9th in the AP. Is that where they should be?
I don't have a problem with it.
Okay.
I mean, they beat Miami. They crushed Tennessee Martin. They beat Kentucky, even though it was a road conference game. Not as confident as I would have expected them to be in this game. Didn't blow them out like I would have hoped they would have.
Yeah.
But I mean, I don't have a problem with the ranking, and like we've talked about, like I don't put a lot of faith in these rankings anyway. I don't believe in them necessarily, so I'm okay with it.
In the AP, you don't believe in the AP? Like what makes you a non-believer?
Well, I just don't think it matters. Like until we get to the actual committee. I
think these rankings mean a lot as far as the committee, because when they're looking at like who'd you beat, when'd you beat them, they're looking at the AP poll rankings. Who'd you beat when they were ranked in the AP poll? I think they matter more than what people want to say. Maybe.
But the bottom line is with Florida, it doesn't matter if they're 21st or 1st in the rankings. When they play Auburn, LSU, and Georgia, that's when it's going to matter. Those 3 teams, that's 3 top 10 teams. If they beat those teams, they move up. If they don't, they move down.
Sure.
And that's the bottom line. So that's when it really matters.
So right now, it's as long as you win, you're good as far as you're concerned.
Absolutely.
It doesn't matter. Style points aren't important. Okay.
No, because they have 3 top 10 teams. Like I said, if you beat those top 10, if you beat 3 top 10 teams, you're in the playoff.
Top 10 in the AP. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. Okay. That's fair enough. I'll give it to you. So, anything else you want to add, Tim?
No, you go ahead. Let's hear about the Buckeyes game against Indiana. I'm curious to see your thoughts on it.
Oh, sure. Yeah, Buckeyes, Indiana. It was it was a name the score thing. But what is impressing me more and more every week is the Ohio State Buckeyes defense. They're flying around. They're making plays. Last year, they were timid. Last year, they were playing on their heels. And this year, they are flying to the football. And so that's where they have improved the most from last year to this year. The question marks going into this season. Do you remember what they were, Tim, for Ohio State?
No.
Okay. The question marks going into this season were quarterback. What's Justin Fields' accuracy look like? We know he runs a 4.3 40. We know he was highly recruited, but what's his accuracy and his arm strength look like? His accuracy is still in question. Sometimes it seems like he has a high release and he's throwing the ball high, but I think that can be coached and corrected. And then the question mark was defense, and the question mark was coaching. So I think coaching has been answered. He seems to be the real deal, Ryan Day, and the defense has been answered. And so we're still sitting on that question mark of Justin Fields, of what's his ceiling when the coverage is tight, when he's playing teams like the Michigan States, Penn States, and Michigans of the world. Is he really going to be able to put it in those tight windows? And Wisconsin is really good. And so is he going to be able to throw the ball in those tight windows? And so we'll see. Justin Fields is still my biggest question mark, but everything else has been answered about this Ohio State football team. They seem to be the real deal. I like watching Joel Klatt. I prefer Fox Sports over ESPN these days, and I put something about that on our Twitter page. But Joe Klatt has Ohio State ranked as the number 2 team in the country right now, when in the AP poll they're ranked 6th. But Joe Klatt's also he was the commentator for 2 of the games, so he's seen them firsthand the entire game. So I don't know. It could be just because Joel hasn't seen enough of the other teams, but I think he seems to have an unbiased opinion. So I like where Ohio State's going as a team, and I like that they are putting up style points because as much as we like to say it doesn't matter, I think that for Ohio State it does matter style points because these Big Ten teams are dropping off big time, which we'll talk about more in our weekly recap as far as the league overall. But I think style points are going to matter for Ohio State, so they're going to have to keep running up the score.
Yeah, I can agree with that part more. I think that they're going to have to earn, like it or not, they have to show that they can dominate this conference and earn respect to get into the top 4 because right now it's looking like they're going to have to do a lot to get in unless other teams lose.
Right. I mean, we still have Wisconsin, who's ranked. We still have Penn State, who's ranked. Maryland, I'm really disappointed in Maryland that they lost to Temple. But I still think they have a high-powered offense that could be dangerous. And I think by the end of the year, they'll probably be ranked again. But as of right now, they're not. And they still have that team up north, which is always tough. So I think there's still those marquee wins, just like Florida could have. They may not be top 10 by the time we get there, but they're still going to be tough games that we're going to have to bring it.
What about Michigan State? What happened to them this week? I mean, are they good? Their defense has been so dominant, and all of a sudden they don't look near quite as good as they had in the first week or so.
Yeah, I think I like to give Michigan State the benefit of the doubt because I think they're so well coached. And I know that they did lose to Arizona State this last week, but I like to give them the benefit of the doubt because I think that those kinds of losses are just like how Urban Meyer, when he would lose to Iowa, Purdue, they feed off of that negative energy and they bounce back harder than stronger than they were before the loss. So I like to think that these early losses for Michigan State are only going to feed their fire as far as a team. So I like the chance of them rebounding by the time we play them again, by the time we play them this season.
Yeah, I see your point.
So, that's Ohio State. Good, bad, ugly against Indiana. There wasn't a whole lot of ugly. The good is obviously Chase Young, who's probably going to be the number 1 draft pick next year. He had 2 more sacks this time. And the good is our DBs. I don't think there's a DB on Ohio State's roster who's not going to go in the first round. Jordan Fuller, Damon Arnett, Jeffrey Okuda. These guys are all first-round draft picks. And so our defensive backs are looking like the best unit in the country. And our weakness, like I said, could potentially be running back. Not running back. J.K. Dobbins is a beast, but our weakness could be I haven't seen enough. Justin Fields is putting up numbers, but if you're watching the games, he's missing a lot of passes he should make. A lot of high. They're going high. So I'm still questioning Justin Fields' legitimacy as a legit quarterback. So he's still my question mark. So he's my bad. Well, he wasn't bad though. He still had a great game. It's so hard. But he's just I'm not sold yet. That's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, and I understand. And I think I want to see him play against a real defense. I don't think he's playing against a good defense yet this year. So once he plays against a Michigan State or a couple other teams like that, then we'll see what they really have. Right,
exactly. I don't think we're going to get that. Maybe we do play Michigan State in 3 weeks. We play Nebraska next week, which could be – I still don't think Nebraska's defense is all that tough. I honestly don't think we're going to get a real tough defense until we face Wisconsin in like 5 weeks on October 26th. Oh, yeah. That's my weekly recap. It kind of ran on there. I apologize, folks. If you sat through that and didn't fast forward, congrats to you because I kind of rambled on there about the Buckeyes because that's what I do because I love my team. So let's talk about some of the weekly games that happened last week. Let's talk Michigan. Tim, did you watch the Michigan Army game or did you see highlights?
That was 2 weeks ago.
Was that 2 weeks ago? Oh,
yeah. They had that
Michigan was off. Yeah. Did we talk about that Michigan game?
We did.
What did we say about that? Was that valuable? The fact that they lost, I know they dropped a lot in the eighth.
They won the game, but the way they played against Army, I think that hurt them a little bit. Even though we talked about how Army's a tough team to play against.
Yeah, that's right. And so I noticed that Michigan dropped much further from their game with Army, then Florida dropped with Kentucky.
Well, Kentucky and Army are not the same level, first of all.
Are they not?
No, they're definitely not. That's
Are
not even
they
the same
not?
comparison.
I think they are.
Plus, Florida was at Kentucky, an SEC opponent. So that's another point that makes a difference.
Yeah. Yeah.
Would you consider – okay, well, let me ask you this. Army or Indiana, which is a better opponent?
Army or Indiana? I don't know. I'd probably Army.
Okay. But –
Wouldn't you say? I would rather play Indiana than Army.
Yes. Yes, I would too. Would you rather play Kentucky or Army?
Kentucky.
Really?
Yes. 100%.
Kentucky's the last couple of years. I mean, I'm not trying to be like Kentucky's the best thing in the SEC. No, but
I understand, but Kentucky
the last few years.
They're not. I mean, maybe, but they're not. They're not as tough as an opponent as Army. Army, like we said, they're a hard team to play. They're going to drain the clock. They're going to run the ball hard. Kentucky is your typical SEC team. I mean, they're going to try to run the ball at you. I mean, I don't even know. I would rather.
It's fine. I'd rather play Army at home than Kentucky on the road.
No, I disagree. So it just shows more SEC bias. That's just my only point. Just the SEC bias is just running rampant through the AP poll right now. That's my only point. Okay.
Well, my highlight of this week is that the Urban Meyer alert is back on 100% after USC lost to BYU on Saturday.
Yeah.
So we're on full Urban Meyer watch again.
Urban Meyer. Yeah. Yeah, he's going somewhere. It's just a matter of where and when. Urban Meyer is not going to sit in a booth watching other teams play. He's got that itch for coaching, and he's going to be coaching somewhere next year.
Yeah, he can say he doesn't want to all the time, all he wants, but he's going.
Yeah. Do you think that Urban Meyer would be coaching at Ohio State if it wasn't for the Zach Smith thing last year? Do you think this was his last year regardless?
I'm not sure. I think this might have been his last year regardless, just
Really?
because, I mean, even before all this started, I think I told you when they hired him, 7 years and one national championship and he's out.
Yeah.
That just seems to be his thing.
His MO.
For whatever reason, it's just kind of what he does. So,
okay. Yeah. I can see that. Okay, so let's look at this last week. I know I jumped back 2 weeks with the Michigan game, but I just thought it was funny how you would defend Florida losing in Kentucky, but Michigan – we kind of defended Michigan, but the AP poll, Michigan has a 1% chance now of winning the college football championship and even making it to the playoffs when before the Army game they had a huge chance. And I think Florida still probably has like a 4% or 5% chance, if I remember right, when Ohio State only has an 8% chance of winning the national championship. So, there's SEC bias, Tim, and it drives me crazy.
well, it happens.
All right. So last week, not a whole lot happening as far as games, but this next week we have two really good games, Tim, and those two games we're going to pick against the spreads. Can you give us those spreads and walk us through this real quick?
Yeah, so we actually have several games. We have three games beyond the Florida Ohio State games that we're going to be picking on this week. So the first one we'll do is we have. Do you want to do the ones for this week, or want to recap last week's first?
Oh yeah. Take us through last week's.
So last week we had 4 games.
Okay.
So we had the sorry, I'm looking at the wrong thing. We had 3 games last week.
Mm-hmm.
We had the Florida-Kentucky game. We both picked Florida -8, and we were both wrong.
Yeah.
Oh, actually, it was a toss. It was a -8. That's what they had. So it was
a wash.
It was a wash. And then we both had Ohio State -16. So we got that one.
Yep.
And the one split we had was a UCF Stanford game.
Mm-hmm.
It was UCF -7.5. I took UCF. You took Stanford.
Yeah.
So I took the lead in our competition this last week.
Yeah, you're up 2-1. All right. Yes, Tim. I understand. You won last week. We'll end with your stupid Gator fight song. But let's focus on the future. Tell us about these upcoming picks. Joel, are you in on these?
Yeah, I'm in. Count me in on this.
All right, let's do it. Joel, Tim, give us this week's spreads. What games do you have loaded up for us this week? And,
All right.
Yeah.
So we have 5 games counting our Florida and Ohio State picks. So
Okay.
we have the first one we're going to start with is the Notre Dame at Georgia game.
Okay.
So Georgia is being given they're favored by 14.5 points.
Okay.
So Georgia is favored at home by 14.5 over Notre Dame. Joel,
Okay.
you want to start?
Celebrity pick first up.
All right, I got to take Notre Dame on this one. They're just dominating it on the scores right now. I mean, they're putting up some mad points. I don't think that they're going to get outscored by that much, if any. There might even be an upset here.
All right. I as long as the spread wasn't more than 21 points, I was going with Georgia because I have Georgia winning this game by 21 points. And here is why. The biggest weakness for Notre Dame, does anybody know what it is?
Winning big games.
Yeah, winning big games and their rushing defense. Their rushing defense is bleeding. Now, it doesn't look terribly bad on the stat line, but their rushing defense is the biggest weakness of their team. And guess who leads the SEC in rushing yards?
I'm going to guess probably Georgia.
Georgia with over 246 yards per game. And so I'm going to go Georgia big. I think they could probably run the ball and every play and still win by 21 points. So I'm going Georgia on this one. I'm going to lay those points.
Shep, I love that pick. I think it's smart. However, what got me is that half a point. I think if it was under 14, I was going to go with Georgia.
Okay.
Yeah, at home, I know it's a lot. I mean, 14.5 is a lot of points, even for a home team. Notre Dame, they're gonna crumble and fall apart in the playoff if they get there.
Right.
But they seem to show up a little better in these kinds of games. So I think Georgia is going to win the game, but I think it's going to be closer than 14.5. So I'm taking Notre Dame.
Okay.
The points.
All right. That's good. I mean, you're starting the game off with 14.5 points. You can't be too upset about that.
Yeah, so we'll see what happens.
Yeah.
All right. So the next game, let's go to the Miami, Ohio against Ohio State game.
Okay.
So Miami is not looking very good. Ohio State's favored by 38.5.
Yep.
38.5 points at home.
Yep.
Joel?
No, it's definitely going to be Ohio State. They're just going to run up the score. They have to. They need to just to look good in what's a weakening conference. So
what do you think, by 42? Are you thinking it's going to be a 42-point game?
At least. At least.
Okay. Yeah.
If we can put up, was it 40-something, 54 up against
51.
Indiana?
Yeah.
51.
Yeah.
We can put up 51 up against Indiana. We should definitely put up a lot more than that against Miami. The only reason we wouldn't is if they just pump the brakes and save their key players.
Right. Yeah. This is going to be a game where it's Joel, if they want to score more than 42 points and beat them by more than 42 points, they will. If they're like, you know what, I want Joel to win this spread, so we're just going to lay it on them, they can. Name the score, that's what it's going to be for Ohio State. They're going to control this game, offensive line, defensive line. Every aspect of this game is going to be controlled by Ohio State, so they can put up or give up as many points as they want, depending on when they put in their backups. Why Ohio State even plays these games is beyond me. They drive me crazy. But anyway, Ohio State beat Cincinnati 42-0. Cincinnati just beat Miami of Ohio 35-13 last week. And so I obviously think that Ohio State is easily going to could put up 31 points, and I think they will win by at least 42 points.
Yeah, I think that the question isn't how many points is Ohio State going to score. For me, it's how many points are they going to allow.
Right.
The answer is 6.
Yeah.
So they're going to score 60 points, and they're going to win by more than 38.5. I think it's easy cover for Ohio State.
Yeah.
All right. Let's move on to the Tennessee at Florida. Florida is favored at home by 14 points. Joel?
I gotta come back to me on this one. I gotta do a little research on this.
Okay.
All right, I'll take over here. This is at Florida. I think Florida's going to rally around Trask, but I think again Tennessee is just that bad to where I think it's going to be a name your score kind of game again, just like it is. Maybe not to the extent of Ohio State, Miami, but that's still me giving Tennessee the benefit of the doubt on this one. So I think what's the spread on this one? I'm sorry, Tim, I missed that.
14.
14. Oh my gosh. Yeah, clearly I'm gonna pick Florida on this one.
Yeah, I agree. I think that Tennessee is just bad. They are a bad football team. So if Florida does half of what they should do, I don't care if they start their left guard at quarterback. They should be able to beat Tennessee.
Right.
So I mean, all due respect, the SEC opponent, but no, this is a game where Florida should win by 4 touchdowns, and I'm going to be really disappointed if they don't.
Yeah. Back to you, Joel.
Yeah, I'm gonna say if Tennessee is gonna lose to Georgia State by 8,
Yeah.
then there's no reason why Florida shouldn't be able to put up 14 more than them. So
Right.
yeah, it's gotta be Florida.
Okay.
All right. Next game, let's do Michigan at Wisconsin.
Game of the week, in my opinion. Game of the week. This is must-watch TV if you're a football fan.
Well, Wisconsin is favored by 3 at home against Michigan. So who do you have, Joel?
Say Wisconsin's favored by 3?
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, easy. They can definitely cover that.
So you're taking Wisconsin to cover the 3 points?
Hold on, wait. So I'm just looking up some stuff.
Why don't we do Joel last?
Okay.
Yeah. So, Tim, why don't you start this one?
All right, I'll start. As we've talked about, I don't have a lot of faith in Michigan. I do not have a lot of faith in Michigan. I don't. I think Wisconsin's going to cover this. I think Wisconsin's going to win by 10 points at home, and that's what I'm going with here. I don't like this Michigan team. They haven't proven anything. The one benefit they have is they had a week off to plan for this game, but I don't think it's going to be enough. I think Wisconsin at home by 10.
Yeah, I'm gonna agree with the Wisconsin pick, and feel confident about this pick. Wisconsin in the past, they've always had that dominant rushing game. I mean, you can look back years and years and years, and you can see Wisconsin always has 2 strengths: offensive line and running backs, and they're always going to play solid, disciplined defense. That's Wisconsin's MO. This year, Wisconsin has a legit passing game. And so I think they are the most well-rounded they've been since I can remember as a college football fan. And so I think Wisconsin is the toughest test in the Big Ten for Ohio State this year. And I think they're going to roll by I'd probably put it – if I were putting these spreads, I'd probably put it at 10. And so I'm clearly going to pick Wisconsin here to cover this by 3.
Yeah, I'm just looking here. Both of them had last week off.
Mm-hmm.
So they both got the same rest.
Correct.
Wisconsin scoring 55 points per game. All right, and they're putting up way more yards, both passing and rushing. Not only are they going to cover the spread, they're just going to. I think they're going to blow them out of the water. I think they're going to make Michigan look silly, and on top of that, I think Wisconsin moves to a top 10 team after next week.
Is Michigan the most overrated team in NCAA football right now?
Possibly. Yeah. I mean,
either them or Florida, right, Tim?
No. You kidding me? Middle Tennessee.
I know.
Tennessee.
Smoked them.
That's embarrassing. No, I'm talking about Michigan. They played Middle Tennessee. They give it 21 points.
Yeah.
They're that's not good enough
at
home. And then they turn around and beat Army in 2 overtimes. It's just not good enough. Whereas Wisconsin hasn't allowed a point all year. Granted, not great opponents, but they haven't given up a single point.
Right. And Jonathan Taylor's running out of his mind right now. I mean, he's the real deal.
I just don't see where Michigan's going to be able to score enough to really keep this a competitive game.
No, me either. Yeah, so I think -3 is generous for Michigan for Wisconsin this week.
All right, and the last game of this week is Auburn at Texas A&M. Texas A&M is favored by 3.5 at home. This to me, the reason I did this one last is I think
like
of these
this.
5, this is the hardest one to predict.
By 3.5, you say?
3.5.
A&M? All right. Boy, I don't know enough about these teams. I just know what I think about these teams. And what I think about this is that Auburn is probably one of those other overrated teams. And Texas A&M is still a huge question mark of what they can be. So I'm going to go with the home team here and take A&M and lay those 3.5 points.
Okay. I'm going the other way. I'm going based on the big games these two teams have played. We had Auburn beating Oregon.
Yeah, I remember.
And then we had Texas A&M losing to Clemson, which I'm not saying Clemson and Oregon are the same team, the same level. But of those two games, Texas A&M was competitive for a while, but not really. I mean, I was actually a little disappointed with how they played against Clemson. I thought they played better, especially on their defense, and I thought they'd be able to score more. So, based on that result, I'm giving the edge to Auburn, especially when they're being given 3.5 to start with, even on the road. So, I don't know they're necessarily going to win this game, but they're not going to lose by more than a field goal.
Okay. Joe?
Yeah. I gotta go with Auburn on this one. I think they're just gonna be hungrier. I think they want to make it into top 4. They're trying to use this win to probably launch themselves into at least top 6. So I think they're just going to want it more. So it comes down to that for me.
Okay.
Right. So there we have it.
All right. Well, we will see how this ends up. Tim, you have the honors this week of closing us out with the Florida Gators fight song. Ladies and gentlemen, this has been a fun show. It's just been 3 guys who are best friends, just chilling out and hanging out and talking college football, and it has been a blast for us. And I hope you have enjoyed it as well. Thank you so much to our sponsors, My Auto Care and the Affinity Apartment Communities, and as well as they just picked up their cabin. So check out both of those sponsors. Thank you so much to them, and thank you so much to our audience for being a part of it this week. We have loved it, and we'll catch you next time.
Go Gators.